Kurtzy's Corner. This week in Kurtzy's Corner, I want to wish a happy retirement to the James Krause. James Krause had been debating on having one more fight, but after officially winning his first UFC World Championship the other night at UFC 277 in the corner of Brandon Moreno, he's decided to walk away from the game as a fighter. He's obviously still in the thick of things as a coach, has more than a dozen fighters underneath his roof at Glory MMA in the middle of the middle of Missouri, which is something that I feel like is such an incredible feat and accomplishment within itself. Like to be able to have that much allure and draw power, to have people from all over the world want to come in and train under your roof.
In Missouri.
And for that matter, you have someone in a Brandon Moreno who was a former world champion who, when he leaves from his prior team and coach situation, he decides to go then train under you. Like, that means something. Like, that means that you have some prestige and some clout in the game as far as what you bring to the table and the value that you can offer for your fighters. That means something in that sense. Also, just on the direct note from the X's and O's and the tactical standpoint from James Krause to Brandon Moreno the other night, it was, as we alluded to earlier, James told him in between the second and the third rounds to finish his combinations off with either the hook or the left kick. What did he finish the fight with?
Ooh, what is left body kick for 300?
Absolutely there, Mr. Friend. Winner. But with that, that shot to the liver right there, that was perfectly programmed into the game plan for Brandon Moreno. Brandon Moreno goes out there and executes the game plan and is able to reclaim that championship, or at least a share of that championship as the interim champion there. Now, on a personal note, I'm so grateful to have been introduced to James a few years ago, and I've grown so much both personally and professionally thanks to his mentorship, guidance, and his advice. I'm not one of his fighters. He doesn't owe me anything, which is why I'm so grateful for the time that he spent and the time of day and the conversations that we've had. There's just some golden things, some golden nuggets, if you go back to our old podcast that we did, to just conversations that we've had that I will never forget for the rest of my life. Naturally, I've learned a ton about the fight game from James, but I've also learned even more about him in the business space, personal finance, and just ways to be able to maximize value and what you can do to build for the future en route to financial freedom. I think that if you are someone who, regardless of if you're an athlete or not, if you have not achieved financial freedom in your life, you can learn something by listening to the 1% podcast or any of the stuff that James Krause has put out there talking about money. That guy is not a successful person for no reason. If we start talking about some of the terms out there when describing some of the people who go on to be just the people who are put on the pedestal and held in high lore for their coaching, their leadership, their mentors, the terms like cleaner, alpha, the type A, all of those things, that is James Krause. His ability to go out there and put a pace on his contemporaries and all the people that he might be in the field of competition against is unlike anyone else. He's out there wheeling and dealing in the business space, whether it's real estate to investments, sports gambling, whatever it is, on top of having a very successful roster in his gym, not only in the UFC, but all across the board, and having a successful promotion in FAC. That's a guy who I draw so much inspiration from, because I think that, there's times where I think that I work hard, and then I see all the things that a guy like James Krause is doing. Like, everything that he's involved in and is just making happen all the time. It's like, man, like, I got to get going. Like, that lights a fire inside of me that, like, man, there's always something else that you can do. There's always more, and there's always an opportunity that you can go out there and try to maximize and take advantage of. I've said it before, and I'll say it again in the future, time and time again. When James Krause speaks, you listen. in every, like I say, in every sense of the terms, he's just someone who is able to lead. If you're able to find a leader like him in your life, and you know what, his speed, his pace, his nomenclature, whatever it may have you, it may be not for you. It may not be your speed or your flavor, but you got to find that type of leader in your life who's going to inspire you to do better. Once you find that leader, you have to be willing to listen, you have to be willing to buy in, and you have to be willing to commit yourself to the process. And someone like that, a leader like James Krause, is going to lead you to success, and they're going to change your life for the better as long as you are willing to commit to the process and follow what they say. And sometimes it's a thing of you just have to put your head down and do it. Don't worry about the why. They see the big picture. They're the ones who are in the position that they are for a reason. You are looking to them for guidance for a reason. You know, I think that's just overall somebody like the OGJK Krizznizzle, the James Krause. You know, I just have to say thank you so much for everything that you have done for me, for the game plan that you've laid out there for young fighters in the game in terms of being able to put out the material to build a blueprint or a financial plan to find a life after fighting. Josh, you talked about it with your friends fill-ins in the past before. Somebody like James has gone out the way that you would want to. Aside from going out, you know, laying the gloves down with your own personal world championship in that sense, you did everything that you could possibly want to. You went out, you exited the game with financial freedom and the next step in place. You exited the game on a win. You also have been able to create a platform on the way out that you will be remembered for forever. It's almost kind of like that Troy scene where, you know, the kid comes up to him like, "Oh, that's the biggest fighter that I've ever seen." Like he's, and that's why no one will remember your name. The 24-hour fight with Trevin Giles is something that just, I feel like, skyrocketed James Krause's stock within the public space of MMA fans. You know, I just cannot be more grateful to see success from my dude.
I can't top that. James Krause is a cool dude. He's an awesome dude. I have mad respect for him, and I can't even try and top what you just said.
Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. That helps us continue to produce this original MMA content and bring it for you every single week. Tune in to the MMA Plug presented by DenverSportsBetting.com on 98.1 FM, Mile High Sports Radio on Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 p.m. or live stream at DenverSportsBetting.com/radio.